Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Walsall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast. We are in association with Lucky Star Gin. I'm your host, Mike, and with me today we have Lewis and Harry on the panel. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. Today we're going to be covering a baffling out-of-form win against Walsall and look forward to the EFL Trophy match. And then we're going to talk through your involvement in the community teams. Don't forget, everyone, the engagement is really, really important. Please like, share, comment, join in the discussions, retweet, or whatever it's called nowadays. Follow us at Sutton Podcast and join in all conversations, chatting with other Sutton fans. Let's get started. Going to have a little very quick chat. Lewis, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you've come to support Sutton, and I say we'll touch on the community stuff in a moment, but tell us a little bit about your supporting history.
So my name's Lewis, and I've been supporting Sutton for since when I've been to a National League, and this is my third season supporting Sutton United. And when I first joined the club and support the club, I just loved it really, because I loved it how the club is doing well. Obviously, the EFL, the league, has in the years, and I just loved it every single bit really, and I just want to enjoy it, and hopefully Sutton just grow even more, and we're building better in the future, really.
Absolutely, yeah. And Harry, what's your story? How comes you again? We'll do the community stuff in a moment, but how comes you support Sutton?
One day, I think in August, I think someone told me about the community team was being set up, and then about Sutton United community team starting out. So then I started to go down, and obviously that sort of attachment to sort of me playing for them, that obviously sort of started to get me into sort of going to watch them play from when I was 15, when we were sort of back in the sort of, I think, Ryman days. And then from that sort of day going forward, I just sort of fell in love with my sort of, I think, local club, and then I haven't looked back since. Because from that day sort of then to where we are now, it's just sort of really great to see where the club's gone from then to where we are now.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to get into the match in a moment, but there's a bit of club news. Unfortunately, the ladies' side lost today. They took the lead against Fulham, and they ended up losing 4-1 against a very strong side. Strangely, their next match is on Tuesday against Dorking. The fixtures are horrible again, because if it was the following Tuesday, we could have had a few people down there, but obviously we've got Crawley on Tuesday, so we'll affect that. And then next Sunday, they're away to Dartford. We'll obviously mention the coach travel for the supporters club. It's Doncaster Saturday. I think it's 45 quid, and the coach is leaving at sort of 7ish, so make sure you're down there early. And then Wrexham, it's a Tuesday, so it's a whole day one. I think it's leaving about 11ish, and again I think that's 45. And John Parsons is back taking the bookings, so if anyone wants to make a booking, it's email John Parsons. His information is on the forum. But you two have been cursed by so many people coming and saying, "Oh, do you want me on the podcast?" I was like, "No, it's all right. I've got people already on the podcast for the fantastic turnaround and performance. I bet you can't believe your luck, can you?"
No, not at all. I think we've come in into for a good game to sort of dissect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the lineup, though. I mean, I was doing bits and pieces, but I had my go at the lineup. I think I only got 8, 7, maybe 7 or 8. But the lineup didn't really even hint that was on the cards. I mean, what were you thinking before kickoff, Lewis? What were your thoughts ahead of kickoff, seeing the lineup?
Well, I thought for kickoff, before the kickoff, when I saw the lineup, I thought the lineup was similar to Tuesday, the Salford game, and I was surprised about Dino as back in goal, but the performance from yesterday's and Tuesday's against Salford game is a totally different performance than we've seen before. But I just hope now with like that performance we saw that yesterday, I just hope we can just keep on playing that performance and can press high and more tackling and stuff and trying to aim to like every game. But it was a really decent win yesterday. Like nice 4-0 clean sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but Harry, how are you sort of feeling? Were you confident ahead of kickoff? Did you? I mean, I have to admit, it's one of the very first times I've predicted a non-win. I went with a draw, and they made a mockery out of me.
Like going into the game, I can probably talk on myself and other fans. I don't think we were probably confident with the recent run of form that we were currently on. But judging from like the start, the boys and sort of how we started out the blocks and stuff, I just thought that just gave me that confidence that I saw from the lads that I think we could actually win this game.
Yeah, but you were kind of you guard the boardroom stairs. Do you see the players beforehand, or do they come in before you start doing that?
Sometimes those players that aren't playing, they might sort of walk through, or those that like maybe sort of like running a bit late, they might walk through and stuff. But it's just sometimes I might see them in passing. Yeah, you didn't have a gauge of we're going to be good here. But it started early. Omari, what was it, 5 minutes, 6 minutes? Harry Smith trying to take credit for that by saying he told Omari to have a shot. But Lewis, what did you think of the free kick?
I thought the free kick was really buzzing, really, because I obviously these free kicks nowadays you don't really expect are going to go in or not. But obviously, our Sutton fan is really buzzing, and when Patrick scored the free kick, but it's really decent free kick. I can't complain with it really.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're on the curve. We're sort of a little bit like, what's happening here? Have we gone 1-0 up? Oh my god, we might nick a draw here. But Harry, how were you how was your view of the free kick? Where do you guys stand?
We stand on that sort of, I think, the side where the vocal locks get behind the sort of
right. Okay.
In the corner, sort of. I think just as before, where the gated part and the away section is.
Yeah. So you had a good view of the goal. Yeah, you had a good view of all the goals actually. So, what did you think of the free kick, Harry?
As when the free kick came, I was thinking, I was a bit unsure, like where's this going to go and stuff. Like we haven't scored in quite a while and stuff. And our luck hasn't been there and stuff. Then I was thinking, is that in the players' minds and stuff? Whoever's taking the free kick. Then obviously the pressure didn't get to Omari Patrick. So then once the goal went in, I think for myself and the rest of the fans, I think there was that sort of sense of jubilation because we've just been waiting for that goal and that sort of sense of enjoyment and excitement around the club. Yeah, no, it's just pure. What's going on? But I'm delighted. But I can't understand. I was looking at it earlier. We hadn't scored at all for the last 2 games, and actually, our last 4 goals has taken us 6 games prior to yesterday. So, definitely low scoring, as you mentioned, Lewis. But Harry, if I stick with you, then Smithy got a goal, quite an acrobatic goal.
for his first one. I don't even remember the time of that, but again, that was early. How were you sort of feeling at 2-0? Were you full of confidence, or were you still a little bit nervous?
At 2-0, like it's one of them score lines. Like I'm not exactly full of confidence because there's always that opportunity. If the opposition or the other team get the next goal in the game, it sort of changes the sort of complexion of the game because then the ascendancy is on them. So I was really obviously like in the moment, like really happy that we went 2-0 up, and it sort of in sort of that sense of like give us that insurance policy from the one goal. But at 2-0, I still thought there was that sort of chance. If the other team also was to go into the game and get the next goal, then game's back on.
Yeah, they say that, don't they, Lewis? It's 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline.
Yes.
So, I mean, how were you feeling? What you guys had a better view of the goal than me because I'm blind and be on the other end of the pitch. But you must have had a good look at Harry's goal. How did you see it?
I think it was. I don't know if I'm right in thinking, but I want to say it's not far above the corner. I think it was like a header goal, but it was really decent.
No, I think his second was the header. The first one was he kind of almost bicycle kick, not quite, but
yeah,
almost.
But either way, I thought for both goals really good, to be honest. They really decent goals really, and Harry it's been handy for us really. He can win headers and he can like control a ball with it well and pass it as well. So he can do everything for us. But it's just really handy and big player for us really for this season.
Yeah, he absolutely had a great game yesterday. I mean, Harry for the the third goal was a bit weird because I think it was announced that Smith scored it, but he was on the floor and it went in off the defender. He himself confirmed afterwards it was the defender that scored it. But then he got the header that Lewis alluded to there as well. So we kind of go in at half-time 4-0 up. At this point, I think someone on the curve has said we might get a point out of this game. How were you kind of feeling at 4-0? A bit of dreamland, huh?
Yeah, I was sort of like 4-0. Like, where's this sort of sense of the performance come out of there, and then like score 4 goals in sort of one half. It was just sort of like astonishing, sort of thinking. Like, I just didn't really know where that come from.
Yeah, but you were confident for the second half, Lewis. Did you think we were going to carry on attacking, or did you think we would sort of shore it up a little bit at half time?
Well, for the second half, I think for the first 2 or 3 minutes, I think Walsall was coming right at us and then right attacking and trying to get a quick 1 goal back. But I think we defended really well and solid, and we managed to get with Reffin going the first half and get out attacking and wise and going and trying to get some more goals really. But I was hoping to get like 1 or 2 extra more, to be honest.
We were I think it got to about 60-65 minutes and we were like, okay, the clean sheet is now more important than another goal. So we were trying to go, well, is 5-1 worse than 4-0? And it was coming down on, no, we want the clean sheet. So how do you think they sort of defended that goal, Harry, second half?
I thought they defended sort of resolutely and sort of back to the wall, because obviously Walsall weren't obviously going down without a fight. They're obviously still going to sort of display, obviously give something for their supporters, because they obviously want to sort of give them a goal or something to sort of take back with them. Even though it wouldn't have been that sense of scoreline that they wanted, they would have wanted to sort of just give them something to sort of they would see like a goal for them. But I just thought the sort of the team and the sort of, I think everyone to a man just sort of just obviously wanted, obviously with that sense of win 4-0, we obviously wanted to sort of just keep that clean sheet intact, and I think that the team obviously wanted that for the fans.
They did. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was mentioned a few times. So Matt's interview afterwards, obviously Lewis, he was a little bit more happier than he has been in the last few weeks. And he mentioned the togetherness of the club from top to bottom, fans, players, coaches, everyone. And a couple of people have mentioned, did seem yesterday that everyone was in the mood, and I include the fans, because it did seem that there was a lot of positive. It's strange because we've not won for 10 games, but then suddenly there was a positive attitude yesterday. I don't know why, because I certainly had a little bit of a sulk last Tuesday and didn't do anything. I didn't talk to anyone, I think, for the next 3 days. But what did you think about sort of atmosphere, Lewis, and Matt's comments as well?
I thought atmosphere was really good, and I thought when I watched Matt's interview yesterday, it was a lot happier and cheerful, like a lot cheerful, I say, after the results we had, and but I think he was just happy and to get a 4-0 and a clean sheet, really.
Yeah. And Harry, what were your thoughts?
What was the question again, please?
Sorry, the Matt's comments in his interview, and sort of the general atmosphere of everyone kind of seeming to be up for it, including the fans who've just watched Salford, for example.
So my sort of reaction was obviously that I think I was obviously really happy for the team, as well as obviously the team was really happy for sort of us. So that sort of sense of both sort of thinking, sort of that sense of reward from sort of both.
Mm-hmm. And you guys have mentioned already about the sort of the pressing, which was more Sutton United than we have been for a little while. Do you think that is what made the result? The early pressing from the forwards and the midfield picking up the spare balls and whatnot?
I think a lot of it sort of goes from leading from the front. If you press from the front, that obviously sort of the sort of delivers that energy to sort of the other teams, the other players in and around you, because they will see what you're doing, and then that will sort of spur them to sort of do the same.
Yeah, and Lewis, what were you thinking? I mean, you were the one mentioning the pressing earlier. You're obviously impressed with it, but what were your thoughts?
I think the pressing made a lot of difference when we weren't pressing enough. But I think yesterday we was pressing quite a lot, and I think that made a huge difference because I think that's why we won the game, really, and that's what we need to do more often, really, and trying to aim that every game, really.
Yeah, I mean, one of the Walsall fans made a specific point that the forwards were doing the pressing, especially on the keeper when he had the ball, because he likes to pass it out to his fullbacks, and because then the keeper had to go long, we then had our defence and midfield winning that ball, and it kind of just took a lot out of Walsall, which it would do, I guess, for a lot of teams. But yeah, I love seeing the relentless steamrolling of the side, because it's been said many times we're one of the fittest teams in the league. We should be able to outrun everyone else. There are a couple comments about the formation going back to 4-4-2, which was interesting because everyone kept saying that we should be changing from 4-4-2, but obviously we've gone back a bit more to a solid 4-4-2. But Matt didn't want to pick out any names, and I understand why, but who kind of stood out for you guys yesterday? Who were you like, that was a cracking performance?
Two names that sort of sprung to mind was obviously Omari Patrick, because I thought he was really direct and sort of just really trying to, when he was getting on the ball, he just had that one intention, just to sort of run at his man and just try and make things happen, and just trying to win things and get balls into the box when and where he could. And I'll say Harry Smith, because he was just putting himself a presence out there and just sort of just winning fouls and just putting his body about, and then obviously got himself rewarding with 2 goals.
Yeah, Lewis, who were you impressed with?
I think I have to go with Harry, to be honest. And I think them two were top yesterday, really top form yesterday. So I think them two were the 2 main players who really top form yesterday. They did really well for us. And
just to sort of add on to that point, sorry, I thought
right.
Christian Ingerson obviously really had one of his sort of great games in that sort of that centre of the park, because I feel like the more he's sort of playing and sort of just becoming, obviously because he's stepped up from a few divisions where he was playing, I think lower league with Ebbsfleet, he's starting to sort of think fit in and sort of like each to his own. Like it doesn't really look out of place.
Yeah, I mentioned him specifically to someone yesterday's. Of all the players that we signed, you kind of think he's the one that needs to be developed and given a bit more time. Yet he's come in and like actually he's done really, really well. The other one I thought did really well until I cursed him was Aiden. I thought he was brilliant and he put a foot wrong until I said that out loud. And then as soon as I said it out loud, he gave the ball away. I was like, shut up, Mike, don't say another word. But yeah, all over the park, you had Craig Clay just sort of covering where Omari, we've mentioned he likes to go forward, doesn't necessarily like to come back, but you had Craig covering when he went forwards to that left back, which then freed Sam to maraud forward as well. I mean, Ben as captain, absolutely fantastic. I'm not saying other captains aren't, but Ben absolutely took that responsibility and went, okay, yep, I'm going to do a lot with this. There was just so much. It was just, as you said earlier, I think, Harry, from Tuesday, where honestly I could barely speak after the game, to yesterday where I've been bouncing around all over the place. It was just chalk and cheese or night and day, whatever you want to use. It was absolutely amazing. But I wanted to have a few little questions. Leave aside that for the moment. Brilliant performance, and we just do need to carry it on. A lot of people have said, okay, but it is one game. We don't want to now go on another 10-game bad run. We need to back this up against Donny at the weekend. But before Donny, obviously, we've got Crawley. But before we move on to Crawley, I want to just have a little chat about the community side, the disability team, community team. I know there was the foundation day yesterday. I know you guys were in the park earlier, but if you could just sort of let me know, just generally, guys, how did you come to be involved in the teams? What does it mean to you to be involved in the team? And what's the sort of camaraderie like? You were all very together yesterday, taking up lots of space in the fan zone, eating your burgers. But what's it like in general to meet up with you guys?
So when I joined, I think Harry got me to join the Sutton Disability Club, and when I first joined in, I found it really really welcome, and everyone's lovely, and the coach was really nice, and everyone was really nice and helpful, and I just love it really. And this is obviously my third season with the Sutton United Disability, and I just love it really. I just love every single bit of it really, because I just feel in love with the whole Sutton United Football Club, to be honest.
And Harry, what was your kind of story to joining? And I know you said since you're 15. You scored loads of goals as well at the start, didn't you? I don't know if you still are you?
I think I did used to chip in with some goals like here and there when I obviously first started out at the age of 15, yes. And then obviously from that sort of day forward, I've obviously just sort of, the day by day, I've just grown more sort of attached and in love with the club, because obviously there's that sense of that sort of really sense of community around the club and that sense of togetherness, which has made me sort of fall in love with the club more.
And do you know how many teams we've got now? I know we sent a team to Northern Ireland for a competition. Is it every year or every 2 years? I can't remember now.
Every year.
Every year. So how many sides do we have? If you know,
We normally, I think in the past, have taken one team to Northern Ireland, but I think the last few years we've been taking two teams, but into sort of competitively in two sort of, I think, maybe sort of separate leagues based on their abilities.
So what is it like for you for the camaraderie of it all, and where do you sort of see it going? How many sides are we going to have? How big can we be? Because I know I spoke to Aaron a little while ago now, and he just completely freaked me out by saying he chose Sutton United over clubs like Chelsea and so on, because we were offering so much. I'm like, hang on, that doesn't make any sense at all. So what's that like to hear that kind of stuff?
That to sort of hear that just sort of sense of that really that sort of high sort of like how high profile or club and how sort of I think that sort of really sort of people like that sense of like togetherness that the community clubs obviously like, whereas some of these other sort of I think bigger clubs and stuff, well, haven't really got that sort of sense of like what we possess, like that really sense of like bringing the fans to sort of together and stuff. We're very much the sort of the vocal point, obviously, like as part of the club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like yesterday. Unfortunately for me, I didn't really realise until a bit late to be putting it out there and all the rest of it. And also, I was in a bit of a sulk all week. But things like yesterday, seeing all the guys around in and around the match. I know you guys are at every match anyway, but seeing everyone around has just really kind of helped raise the profile of it all. And I mean, are you still at Team Sports?
Yes.
Yeah. And when do you normally play?
We normally play on the Saturday morning, So, like every Saturday morning. But sometimes, if we got a match on, we play like on a Sunday or on a Saturday.
All right, okay. I was play havoc with your personal timetables. Going, oh, wait, hang on, which day is it? But how is this? I know you do. You go to. Didn't put two and two together. I'm sorry, Lewis, but until I spoke to Robbie the other week or something, went, oh, hang on, these two parts of my life. Oh, I know you and I know you. I didn't realise. But sort of, how has being as part of the team sort of helped you personally on and off the pitch?
It just feels really good, really. I just feel really happy. When I'm on the pitch and off the pitch, really, to be honest.
And Harry?
I feel that sort of like sense that more sort of attached to the sort of football club in a way when I'm representing the club on the pitch with my sort of fellows. I feel like we're all sort of one together as one club representing, and even off the pitch sort of thing, we still stay united as sort of one club because we all sort of like look out for one another because we're like all one big family at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there what's your personal highlight so far with the team? Harry, I'll start with you. What's your personal highlight so far?
My probably biggest highlight was when I was 15 and I first started in my first competitive season with Sutton. I had trials for England under 16s disability.
Very good. Lewis, what's your personal highlight?
My personal highlight, it was going to Ireland, going to Belfast, because I'd never been to Ireland before, and it was my first time going, and I felt like it was a great experience of me going to Ireland, and it was a lovely place and stuff.
Okay, just want to point out, saying coming on the podcast was an option. You could have both said that's the highlight. I'm just putting it out there. Just saying. So has there been kind of any challenges, any sort of difficulties that you've had to kind of deal with playing for the community sides, or either before joining Sutton or whilst with Sutton?
Yeah, I'd say some of my personal difficulties is just on my part. Like sometimes I think like I may not have the best performance, and for a little while. So then I sort of just see that as a difficulty to try and obviously I want to obviously better my performance. Then I just sometimes just don't feel like that sense of like it's like improving. But then even though it might be improving.
Yeah, Lewis.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same with Harry, to be honest, because it depends on the game, and it all depending how well performance I am, to be honest, because it's just on depending how well you do. But I just want to work on that and trying to prove better and to help a team out, really, to be honest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who would you love to play alongside? If you could pick any player from history, who would you like to have alongside you on the pitch? Lewis, we'll start with you because you're smiling a bit broader. Harry's thinking.
What can it be? Any player in the world?
This is a made-up thing. You can just pick any player from history and plonk them alongside you, and that's who you're playing with.
Is Leo Messi an option?
If you want.
That'd be my future because obviously he's one of the top players in the world, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And Harry?
I feel like obviously with my sort of sense of really sort of attachment to the club, I feel I owe it to Craig Eastman.
You just want the free kicks, don't you? You're on free kicks, so you get the free kicks from Craig. And if there was a team that we haven't, I mean, is there a team that you'd like to play against? Obviously, we've mentioned a lot of the Premier League stuff, so I know we play Arsenal quite frequently. But is there a team that you'd love to be sort of playing at either their stadium or hosting them at us? We'll start with you, Harry, because Lewis is thinking. His eyes have gone up, no?
Like my team or the actual first team?
So your team, who would you love to be on the pitch playing against?
Oh, I would. Maybe Man United, Liverpool, Man City, one of the top clubs.
Okay, Lewis.
Yeah, I'll probably the same as Harry, to be honest.
Fair enough. And are we winning that game?
I'll back the back. I can say yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, yes.
And so, where do you where do you kind of see this not going? But what are your hopes for this season, next season, and beyond? Where we're going to be seeing Sutton United's community teams playing?
I'm not really too sure, to be honest, but but for my team, for the community team, there's like 3 teams, but I think my team has got a match next Saturday at Arsenal away, not for the stadium, the pub right next to it, but yeah.
And Harry?
I think my team's recently, I think this season we've got a league, and our league will start, I think, on the 22nd of October, where we start our first competitive league game away at Slough.
Okay. So we're going to smash the league, or?
Pardon?
Are we going to smash the league?
Well, I think that's what we're hoping to do. We're hoping to. That's our expectation.
Good. That's our expectation at all. No pressure. So the Twitter handle, I can't remember it off the top of my head. Let me have a very quick look unless I review the name of the community teams. But they will put up the fixtures and tell us, oh my God, there's so many different teams with United. And they'll tell us where you guys are playing and when. You said you're away at Arsenal this weekend, Lewis. Harry, where's your side?
We're away, I think, at Slough, somewhere. I don't know where it's
You've
been
mentioned that already. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so rubbish. You just said that. Right. I will find the link if I don't find it this very second. So people can just keep up with where we are. It's at SUFC_disability is the the Twitter handle, and also SUFC Foundation as well. So follow those guys and you'll be able to keep up to date with all the fixtures and so on. But talking of fixtures, we have got another match coming up very, very quickly, Tuesday night. What do you think, Lewis? Do you think we're going to stick with that side, or are we going to kind of start resting some players and getting minutes into legs and so on, or is the momentum more important?
I reckon Tuesday, as is only an EFL Trophy game, I reckon Matt will only do like a few changes. I reckon he will change it up to give having Aiden for a rest, because obviously I think he wants to mainly save him for like a league, really. So I think Matt's going to do like a few changes, but I'm not 100% sure. But the upcoming on Tuesday game, I reckon after the win yesterday, it will hopefully give us a huge confidence and hopefully get the win, and hopefully we can be top of the group of EFL group stage to really.
Yeah, I mean, we want to get something out of this to make that Charlton play game a little bit interesting, because then you'll have more people wanting to go to that. But what do you think? Do you think we're going to make changes or stick out our strongest to try and keep this momentum building?
I feel like Matt Gray will obviously freshen up the pack slightly, because he'll probably want the most sort of well-drilled and energised side. So I feel like he will freshen it up in some places, like Lewis was touched upon up in the front end, to sort of to give some of the fresher legs up in the front end, and maybe rotate the middle of the park so that we have a bit more energy in the midfield and freshen up in the centre area, because it'd be a bit asking a lot of the players to play quite a lot of minutes Saturday, Tuesday. Even though I reckon players could obviously do it, but then there's obviously that risk of they maybe get injured, and then we obviously would then need them for the league because they're all crucial players. So then, whereas some of the other players, like they don't have many minutes, it would just be good to get them minutes into the tank for them. So like if that opportunity, when the other players do get injured in the league, they're fresh to sort of play in the league games, where if they haven't played for so long, they may not be quite up to speed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So going to put you under a bit of pressure, ask you for your prediction. So I'll go first, give you a little second or so to think about it, but I reckon we will want to get a bit of revenge on Crawley, and I'm going to go with 3-1. But Lewis, what do you think your prediction is?
I reckon I'm gonna go with. After yesterday, I was a clean sheet. I'm gonna beat it confident and go with another clean sheet. I reckon like 2-0 to Sutton.
Perfect. Harry, what do you reckon?
I feel like both teams are going to know what's at stake. I feel like both teams will probably sort of score at either end, but I think Sutton will edge it 2-1.
2-1. Excellent. Lovely. So don't forget, everyone, you can join in with the prediction league. No one has broken away at the moment because it's not been a great season so far. But the link, I've not put the QR code on the screen because I can't remember how to do it. But the link will be in the description. Join in, and there will be some kind of prize at the end of the season. But yeah, I think Chalmers is winning at the moment, so we can't allow that to continue. We're going to kind of wrap this up, gents. Thank you so much for your time. It's been really, really, really useful, and really appreciate it. I hope it wasn't too nerve-wracking for you. I did promise I wouldn't make it scary. So as always, we appreciate your attention. Like, follow, share, do all the normal things on social media. I love your feedback, and please just retweet it, re-X it, and everything. Give us a subscription and a review on your preferred podcast platform. As always, thank you to Lucky Star Gin. Thank you again, Harry. Thank you again, Lewis. We will see you on Wednesday, and I believe I've got Claire and Gabriel doing that one on Wednesday. So we will definitely see you on Wednesday after the EFL Trophy. I won't have a soul cooking for a long time. It'll be fine. But thank you all very, very much. And
thank you for
take
inviting
care.
us to the channel.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome, guys. See you soon. Bye.
United! 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 United!